Welcome to Foxborough's Conservation Commission meeting of July 29, 2024 at the Gala Meeting Room. This meeting will be broadcast live and is recorded by Foxborough Cable Access. 7 o'clock we have open meet. I'll officially open the meeting. We have no public comments, so we have some minutes to be approved.
Sure, we have the minutes from the July 15th meeting. We discussed applications for 119 Morse Street and 8 Goodwin Drive, both of which were continued. We discussed the drainage solution at Mackenzie Lane and some beaver issues at Wolf Meadow. The minutes all looked good to me. I didn't have any changes.
The only thing I had on Mackenzie Lane, we say that they're going to install the drain. They did install the drain.
Oh, okay.
No big deal.
Okay. Anything else? Motion has been made to accept the minutes. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? All right. Meeting up at Stadium, real quick, John. Can you do it in 3 minutes?
Sure.
Or you want it longer?
No, I think 3 minutes is fine. So I met with members of the Kraft group and Catherine here in Foxborough.
Our new town planner?
New town planner, yeah. And we looked and assessed at some potential upgrades they're looking to do to the Patriots Place facility. It was kind of a broad overview as what they're looking to do with the MBTA moving forward, and then also kind of how it relates to conservation. And we looked at a potential project that they were going to be coming in front of the commission, I think this year, shortly. So we're asking some questions, and I relayed that I think a local filing for what they're looking to do would be sufficient. So they're going to come in with a local notice of intent for the new project that they got.
Okay. I was unable to get up there with you Friday. I had company from out of town, so I probably will call Beth and just go up and take a look, see it myself, because I like to look over the landscape if I can. So
Sure. Yeah.
anybody else have any comments or want to try to get up there to look at it?
Yeah, let me know when you're going to do it, Bob.
Okay.
I'm around.
Let me know too.
All right.
Is that, you should see how close it is to the flooding problem that's in that same area that affects Lawton.
Okay, I'm not sure if it does, but we can look at that. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I've got 705. We have a 39 West Street.
So Foxborough Conservation Commission notice of public hearing pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Foxborough Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267. The Conservation Commission will open a public hearing on Monday, July 29th, 2024 at 7:05 p.m. in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, or via Zoom, on a notice of intent filed by Connie Jo Dwyer Holliker for a proposed upgrade of a residential septic system at 39 West Street, Assessor Map 152, Parcel 028. Portions of the proposed work lie within 100 feet of a resource area. The application is available for public inspection in the Conservation Office at Town Hall. The notice can also be found on the Massachusetts Newspaper Publishers Association website.
Thank you. Do we have somebody zooming in?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? This is Peter with Collins Engineering Group.
Could you get a little bit closer to the mic?
Sure. How about now?
Not a whole lot different.
Still a little echoey.
You're echoing on us.
I don't really know how to change that. I can turn my volume down a little bit. Is this any
That's
better?
good. That's good. Where you are.
Awesome. First off, I should be sharing the screen. Can you guys see the plan?
Yes.
You have a copy of it? All right, for the record, Peter Lyons, professional engineer with Collins Civil Engineering Group, representing the homeowner for this project. We're here tonight with a notice of intent for repair of a failed residential septic system. This is an existing two-family dwelling, located set back off of West Street to the east. Site is basically up on a hill surrounded by wetlands delineated by flags 1 through 29 as shown on the plan. The wetlands were delineated by Brook Monroe, botanist. Basically, an overview of the site shows the 100-foot buffer down in the southwest corner of the lot. And we are able to keep the leaching field outside of the 100-foot buffer. However, to access the existing plumbing and decommission the existing pits, we will be working between the 25-foot and 100-foot buffers. So looking at the plan, the wetlands are green, 25-foot buffer is shown as orange. It's actually, yeah, it's kind of labeled incorrectly. We show it as the 100-foot buffer, which is correct. And then down in this, that should be a 100-foot buffer on the bottom as well. So the pump chamber and the leaching field are outside the 100-foot buffer. The septic tank, that's really the only location we could put in it. It's approximately 90 feet from the resource, flag 28. Actually, it looks like we can show 82 feet. We are proposing an 8-inch straw wattle basically around all of the site access, which is the existing paved driveway to the west. The red dashed line is our proposed erosion control that will surround the decommissioning of the existing pit to the north and to the west, to the east out by the in-ground pool. We will be providing new plumbing out the front of the house and new plumbing off the rear of the house. Both the flows will combine in a septic tank to a pump chamber to a pipe and stone leaching field. The leaching field is occurring in an existing lawn area previously disturbed. There are no proposed impervious features as part of this project. Pretty straightforward. No real grade changes. We're looking at maybe a 1/2 foot to 1 foot grade change over the western edge of the system. Other than that, post-construction, the site will basically have the same, runoff and drainage characteristics as it currently does. That's my quick rundown. If the commission has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Excuse me, John, were you able to get out to the site?
Yeah. So I was out there to take a look at the wetlands. I have no issues with the wetland flags. Brook usually does a good job. But I guess, obviously it's going to be tight corners around the house for access. What are you going to use are you going to use a small machine to get around the corner of the house?
Yeah, probably just a mini excavator is all we can really fit back there.
Okay.
And the bulk of the work is going to happen out front. The major excavation is going to be the leaching field and the excavation for the 2 tanks. With the exception of some trenching for the new pipes, there's not really going to be any major excavation. So, a mini excavator should be able to handle all that. We are proposing to pump and just fill with a clean sand the existing leaching pits. So those aren't going to be, removed. It's not some major excavation to get those pits out of there. They'll fill them in, crush in the top and the cover, and flatten it, level it all out.
And Peter, when you say straw wattle, you mean compost sock, right?
If that's what the commission requires, yep. It looks like
That's their typical standard, 8-inch.
Yeah, I guess ideally if we could just specify that out in the conditions.
Yeah, we will.
Um,
Anything else?
Else on this one?
And does the commission members have any questions?
Questions, comments?
Just submit a new plan that has the correct buffer zone location, I guess. Should be an issue, right?
No, they can just submit a new plan,
Yeah,
and we can just change the revision date to that, from that plan.
that's it.
And it's showing the, not the straw wattle, but the compost.
Yeah, they can add the label, they can,
Okay,
As a note.
as a note.
all right. Any other questions, comments?
No.
You all set, David?
Yep.
Okay. Good.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you all.
I would have something for you to sign, but apparently stopped at page 7, so my printer must have ran out of paper, so before you go, I will run upstairs, put some paper in it, get the rest of the pages, and you can sign the order.
All right.
But I'll send it to you for whatever. Are you there tomorrow?
Do a standard order. Which specifies compost.
Okay,
It's
so do you want to
being-
do a motion to endorse the order, the
Yes.
draft order that we have here?
Okay.
I'll make that motion to issue a order of conditions on the notice from the 10th, 39 West Street, DP number 157642.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Thank you. So at 7:10, we have a continuation for 119 Morse Street, Assessors Map 149, Parcel 42. The applicant has requested a continuance till August 12th. Somebody want to make that motion?
Make a motion to continue 119 Morse Street to DEP 157, to BD, until August 12th.
Second?
Motion been made and seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Very good, thank you. Okay, 5 Springbrook Road, what is that, Diana? We got certificate of compliance?
They asking for a certificate in compliance. John went out to go see it.
Yeah, it's the, I don't know what the use is. There's
It's
a
a-
tractor
it's-
in front of it, so I don't know
Yeah,
what
he
it's
owns a
for.
construction company, so this is like his showplace for antique stuff.
Got you, okay. Well, it looks very nice. I guess there's a garage in the back. I took some photos, and then there's some mitigation plantings and some other areas. The whole area is stabilized, which was nice, and you can actually see that the whatever mix they used, they might have used a conservation seed mix. David, you probably asked them to use the mix because it looked like there was nice vegetative cover. So, but everything seemed to be stabilized, and I think there was maybe one plant that was missing, but from what I saw, I'd say that it looked good for issuing a final COC.
And look, picture in your mind, that building used to be a service garage.
That used to be a service garage,
Yeah.
and they restored it that well?
Then everything around the 3 sides of it was all type of pots, junk, from years of use.
I would have never known.
It
They
was.
did a great job restoring that property
Yes.
then.
So you happy with it, David?
Oh. I saw it. It was pretty good.
Okay, good, all right.
The rain last year really, I think, helped. A lot.
Yeah.
We did do like a 2-year planting survival report requirement for this guy, did we?
Well,
Growing
the
season.
original order of conditions was from 2020.
All right.
So
I don't remember.
everything looked good
Everything looked
within their standpoint. I wasn't gonna hold their feet to the fire on this one.
Should make sure we
No, I.
check the boxes.
I understand, I understand. If any of the species were failing, then I would have said, or they didn't seem that they were in place, I would ask them for a mitigation plan
Yeah.
to show that they've done the assessment and evaluation, but this one seemed pretty good by my standards.
All
If I
right.
recall, the first year was very difficult and very dry. It was late.
Okay.
And quite a few things failed. So Jane and I think Bob went down there too.
A number of times.
Yeah.
Yes.
We talked to him about it, so that he was gonna immediately
Yeah, they
go
already
the
did
next
that.
spring
Perfect.
and get it.
Okay. All right. You guys are satisfied. I'm satisfied.
Okay.
All right. I'll make a motion then, so. I'll make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 5 Springbrook Road, DP number 157598.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one? Thank you. Diana, did you ever find out where that,
I did,
you did?
because I found, so we got this email about this conservation restriction at the Perkins Conservation Land. Ironically enough, John knows where it is, because apparently most of it's in Sharon.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I found a monitoring visit report from last year. So it's a little pie-shaped piece of land in the middle of a whole bunch of land in Sharon.
oh,
The trustees, they perform baseline monitoring for a lot of these conservation restrictions. And they just like to check in with the landowners to see kind of what the status is on them, and whether there's any sort of intent to sell them to another nonprofit, or whether what's been done, any sort of illicit encroachments or anything like that. So it's kind of their way of just checking in before they go out and either visit these sites or do their own review and kind of report back on it, so.
so exactly where is it? Up what street?
So this guy said
You asked me to remember.
he parked near Mansfield Street, Sharon entrance, walked trails with Josh Philibert from Sharon to near Foxborough Conservation Restriction, and bushwhacked into the center of the parcel.
Oh.
It's over 1 acre in size and surrounded by Canoe River Wilderness Area.
Josh Philibert being the Sharon Conservation Director.
Yeah, nice.
So it's the trail entrance between 159/165 Mansfield Street. I don't know if that's in Foxborough or Sharon.
That's in,
That's Sharon.
that's in Sharon. isn't
That's
it?
in Sharon, yeah.
Yeah.
How do we end up with a piece of land in Sharon?
No, you have a piece of land that abuts.
Oh,
Sharon.
it's, I thought it sounded like it was in the center of it all.
Yeah.
That'd be weird.
But
So-
apparently this guy's going to not go out in person anymore now, he's gonna do it by satellite.
Okay.
So it must be right on the border.
That is.
So do we have to make any actions or anything? It's-
I just told Diana to change the contact information to the office. So that was the only suggested change that I have.
All right, good.
But based on the photo imagery, we can see that those, looks like we didn't answer those questions the last time.
Yeah,
I
he
think
just
we
went
can-
through them and said they're all no.
Yeah, most of the answers are no.
Right. That's why I'm saying we should at least,
Yeah.
yeah, report that back.
Respond back, yeah.
The other thing that was sent out today was, Cocasset River, where did that go? I have it.
Weed treatment?
Well, they sent out an email this afternoon at 2:30 that they want to treat
want to do
for
treatment.
milfoil and fanwort tomorrow. They got some kind of expedited permission from DEP. So I don't know if that means they don't have to put the notice in the paper and the notice around the lake, or,
They do. They should put notices around the lake and the paper.
Anybody using it would want to know that there's.
Yes, we had a similar issue like this, and we have contracted them in Norton to do a lot of our treatments for all the ponds there. And because of the inconsistencies that we had with notices not being on time or timeliness previously. So they're aware of it for Norton, they should be aware of it for other towns too. I think that's a contact that we should definitely be making tomorrow or right now in response to this, asking them, because I haven't looked at the order, so I have to take a look at the order to see what the provisions were in the order for notices, but typically the public should be aware and made aware of when treatment's going to be made, because depending on what the chemicals they're using, they could have certain side effects and delays, and I just don't know what the treatment chemicals they're using for acid is.
That association.
This is Cohasset Lake, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The quote, private lake that is.
Didn't we have them in here, trying to get them to communicate with us?
Yeah.
They've been here a couple of times.
This is their communication?
Yeah.
I think it's
One of the requirements is that this.
So is this a private lake? Is there no public access to the lake?
Correct. Especially if anybody that's not part of their association, they will call the police all the time.
Okay.
People have in the past gone to the cemetery,
Okay.
nice fishing spot. They'll call the police and get the police to remove them out of the cemetery from fishing.
So there isn't public access to this
No.
pond?
Correct.
So,
Fenced off or?
Possible.
It's fenced, every conceivable spot is fenced off that they can fence
but
off.
no one can, there's no public access where somebody
Other
can
than
go
the
to?
cemetery, yeah, that's really the
Okay.
only main point they can get in.
Yeah.
But they did find some evidence, the town manager was looking into, that the fence should not be up on Water Street. They should not be preventing the public. Because the road dam goes right to the water, is ours.
I guess my question is the town, is this a notice to the town that they're gonna be doing this for the private entity, or is it for the safety of the public? I guess that's my question that I'm looking at here, is if it's for a private use in a private pond,
Yeah.
then I don't see how notifying the public has any sort of ramifications, I guess, if you don't notify the public. If there's no access for the public to get to,
Yeah, that's my point.
then, for instance, I don't
I
think.
assume they notified all of the
Association members and abutters of those, or people that might use the pond or have the rights to use the pond. I presume whoever has deeded access was allowed or was notified that they would be treating it. So obviously, that
Just
wasn't.
guessing, though. We
I'm
don't know.
I'm guessing, yeah, I'm just thinking.
Logic says they should have, but
I think if there was this, then for instance, I don't want the town to be responsible for any sort of issues that may be derived if someone does go out there when they're doing the treatment, I think, and I don't know what the order
They were
states.
required, though, they know this, that they are supposed to submit a report
Okay,
of the weeds that are growing.
Surveys,
Being
yeah.
after the study.
Okay.
What they're going to use, and they may not have a date, but all the information was supposed to be, how many months
Yeah.
do you use the ponds? 2 months? 2,
it's
3 months?
usually, it's at least a month, and they usually try to do it 2 or 3 months ahead of time to get on the schedule early, yeah.
And I think it
I
might be.
mean,
in
they know well ahead when they.
Oh, they
can do
know,
it, yeah.
they know, they just, yeah, it was I'm pretty sure it was in the last order of conditions that was extended.
Well, it's got to be in the order of conditions.
Yeah.
Whatever notification.
whatever
requirements-
notification requirements are in the notice,
They're not.
yeah.
And then there's no
Well,
requirement.
they did send me a year-end report that basically said there was nothing
So
to
if we
treat.
didn't require that they provide notice to their, those who are allowed to use it, then I don't, what teeth do we have to?
Well,
require
that's
that?
kind of what I'm hanging my hat on this one too, is I need to look at the order, because I wasn't in the office today to take a look at it, so I'll look at the order, and if there are any sort of requirements, Diana, if you don't mind sending that over to me tomorrow.
Sure.
Is that if there are any requirements in there, then for instance, I will make sure to get in contact with them and make sure that they follow those requirements. But if it's for only the private use and private residents, then I presume they've all been notified.
They sent a letter July 17th. As a representative of Cohasset Lake Association, we are collectively sharing this letter to inform you that we did not perform any weed treatment to Cohasset Lake for calendar year 2023. From Morgan Stacy.
I think they also use a different application that they didn't have to do it every year.
Okay.
They mentioned there was some type of a newer product that DEP has approved.
Yeah.
Procellacor is the newest one that I
know.
know
Flumoxazine.
of. Yeah.
So you just gotta look back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Offhand, yeah.
I'll take a look and see, and if they are following what was provisioned in the order, then, or not, I mean, I'll just send an email chain out to everybody
Yep.
and just let you know what's going on. But, you
We
know,
did, we did require, and they did agree to giving us
Yes.
ample notice. And
Yes.
that, this isn't ample notice.
And-
When
and
they're
part of that
treating.
report was also to include a wildlife
We already had an issue before with,
study.
so if it's conditioned that you give at least 1 week notice, then I will let them know that
I
they're
don't know
outside
what
the,
to do.
well, I'm just saying, if it is
Yeah, no,
1
I
week
hear you, I
notice,
hear you.
then I will let them know that they're outside their provisions of 1 week notice and they have to delay it at least 1 week.
Schedule, yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the way that it is. They can receive a DEP permit. That doesn't mean that gives them the right to just go ahead and give treatment. They have to follow the necessary channels where if we require in our order that, for instance, they have 1 week notification prior to any treatment, then they have to abide by that.
Right.
So we'll see, we'll see.
see what we said.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I sent to you guys, the DEP did that administrative consent order return to compliance for 204 East Street. And they also extended the order of resource area delineation till 2027. That was those two outstanding things for 204 East Street.
Yep.
That the circuit rider had to come and inspect it and stop and said it would be forthcoming. Well, it forthcame July 23rd. So they should be all set with that stuff. The National Grid had sent a thing to me, I don't know why, about soil boring notification, so I gave it to Maura and she put it on the town website. So this is basically saying that they're gonna be in various parts of town drilling holes.
National Grid?
National Grid.
This is for the 344 transmission line project.
Oh,
It goes through Bridgewater, Easton, Foxborough, Mansfield, Sharon, Walpole, and West Bridgewater.
high transmission,
High transmission lines, yes.
are they going to bury it, or are they going to,
It looks like they're just doing testing for the check to see what the soil composition is below grade. So they might be putting in poles.
Isn't that the line that's over on the east side of Foxborough?
yeah, there's already some power
There is
lines
one there,
going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that goes a long ways down into Mansfield,
Was that different?
oh, it
than this one?
goes, yeah.
to Sharon too.
Yeah,
It goes
yeah,
further south, yeah.
yeah. Usually
No, this
those
is the same, sorry. This is the geotechnical
transmission
activities. that-
lines
It's the same,
It's all the
it's
same
the
thing.
it's the
miles
same
and
thing.
miles.
I thought this was the vegetation one.
Oh, no, they haven't done that one. So anyways, nobody's called me and I gave it to Maura to
Okay.
let the whole town know instead of just conservation.
all right.
That's about all that I had. There was someone who used the Lane property over the weekend, so, Leah started texting me at 8:30 Saturday morning. Because, you know, the deck wasn't done, and I'm like, well, they said they're gonna be working on it over a period of time, it's, be fine for the day. And then the person who was having, it was a musician who was having a 25th birthday party. So she asked people for a $10 donation. So then Leah's like, they can't make money, but they were providing food and drink.
Oh.
So I said, they're probably just trying to get reimbursed for the food and drink because things are expensive. But I didn't hear anything. There was nothing on the phone or anything. So I'm assuming it was fine. That was the last organized activity that I had
Okay.
scheduled there, because the rest were Boy Scouts and stuff, so. They're supposed to continue work on the deck, I don't know how long it'll take. And then whenever the weather's clear
Yeah,
for like a week, they'll do the staining and sanding and reverse that, sanding and staining.
Getting it rehabbed.
Yeah, but they've been working on fixing the boards and stuff. Tony did say he's just nailing it down, because he thinks that we should seriously consider putting in a CIP to get like a Trex deck or a composite deck,
Okay,
because this wood's gonna do the same thing. It'll last 10 years and then it'll have to be replaced again.
yeah.
But that
then,
would be like
in order to put the
$15,000.
composite deck on, they have to
They'd have to redo the the joints
Super-
underneath it because
yeah.
they're not at the proper
It's gonna be a
spacing.
complete rebuild, I think.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider. It would cut down on maintenance in the future
Oh,
if you,
definitely, yeah.
but I don't know where you get the funding from.
That's a $30,000 or $40,000 project for that size deck with that type of wood, that fake wood.
Tony thinks it's
Yeah.
at least 15.
Well,
Yeah.
the most expensive part is they're gonna have to pull up everything and put in more supports underneath.
Maybe set it back 25 feet.
That, well, we
No.
won't go there right now, but,
Um,
yeah.
So just for comparison, a person in Norton that I know of built a deck like that, and it cost them $40,000, the Trex deck that you guys are talking, composite deck. So the same size, same kind of thing, and they built it from ground up, and it was about 40,000, so.
Yeah,
That's what I got for an estimate to do a
Yeah.
deck similar to that.
yeah.
Wow.
I didn't do the deck.
I guess I was so fortunate to get mine done when I did, so. The other thing we have on is site inspections. Today, I did go down to Taylor Road. That's the only place I visited today. They are pouring the footings. Actually, they're taking the frame off of the footing. The footings have been poured, so. But that was the only activity that was going on right now.
Yeah, they're taking it slow, from what I gather. So,
And again, I'm very concerned about that septic tank or the pump chamber because they've got everything piled on it. If they didn't put a support over there, I don't know what we can do to check it, but
well, I've told the contractor to be cautious of that septic tank, so.
it's a tight spot. It's got a lot of dirt on it right now,
I know.
so,
Well, I'll send him another reminder.
all right.
But that's a Board of Health issue.
Well, it is a Board of Health, but if that septic tank cracks,
It's a Board of Health issue.
okay, all right.
Impacts the groundwater.
Hey,
Then it becomes a conservation issue.
those tanks are meant to take certain loads on the tops.
They're not indestructible, though.
No, but you can still put a pretty heavy amount of weight, truck on it.
Depends upon how much dirt it
it's
is,
our-
what the level is.
If
I
I
think
was,
this one's very close to the surface.
if
so-
I was the one that was going to be living in that house, I would not want anything on my septic tank during construction. So,
Yeah.
Now, Rich, you had some questions about the site visits.
I thought there was going to be a list at the, with Diana.
Yeah.
That'll indicate the ones that you want visited.
Okay. How are we going to work this out for the next month? You
So
can't
John
be up-
sent me like a spreadsheet he started.
Yes.
So I don't know. Does everybody claim which one they want to visit? I don't know how you guys want to do it. I have no idea.
I mean, that's up to, I guess, as a working group, I guess that's up to all of us to discuss. On to what sites you'd like to look at, whether they be close to your residences or if you'd like to do all of them, over a week. I mean, that's up to you. But I've indicated kind of which ones are active. Now that list is going to change because new projects come in and new activities happen or different phases of the project happen. So it's almost like you have to keep it as a working live document like you would any sort of, permit schedule. So we can do that. It's just how do we keep that open for everybody to see? I don't know. I don't know how to.
I mean, you have it as like a Google Doc, right? So if somebody adds
Yeah.
something, everybody sees it.
I could put it on like a Google Drive link or something like that, but I mean, that's something that we could do.
Because then anybody who makes a comment, then everybody would see it without it having to be saved and resent. It's like a live document. Whatever you do to edit it would be real time.
I could do that and put it on a Google Drive link and just have the hyperlink provided in an email sent out to everybody. You can modify the changes if you see something that you think needs addressing, or kind of like when you were out there, just put your date and your initials. I guess that.
Diana, do they call the office when the project is going to be started, like repairing a septic system, or local residents, or?
Whatever I don't have anything to do with that. That would all be through the building department.
So
Well, just saying because they get permit from us.
Some of them do. There are some of them that call. They say, I have an order of conditions that says the agent's supposed to go out and inspect. I've put up all my construction fencing and the wattle, and they need to come and look at it. But
So the challenges with that are not always all the time is a project ready to be going to construction. There's certain things that a lot of projects need before they can go to the construction phase, whether that's having building sign off, whether that's having Board of Health sign off, whether it's having fire sign off. All the other departments typically need to sign off before any sort of pre-construction meeting, and they're given the green light to go ahead and do the work.
I was thinking that the date that we are notified should be on that list, so we know that this project started in 2024, and instead of some people just can't start until next year, or the fall or something.
Yeah, so when a project goes live, goes active, I mean, I can put it at a different color or different type of I don't know, put a date down.
Yeah.
The challenge that you don't want too much information in this, otherwise you're just going to get overloaded with information and you're not going to know what's going on. So I want to keep it as short and condensed as possible for everybody to make sense of.
The KISS method.
Oh, what's that?
The KISS method.
The KISS method, yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, keep it simple, yes. So that's where we don't want too much information on there. But obviously, I'll put a comment section on there so that way you can make comments if you need to. But it's not like, I want everybody to just use it as a guide and just say like, okay, this site was last visited on this date. I'm going to go out to this visit. I mean, but also like collaborate with each other too. I mean, I think David and Rich, I've seen you guys go out on site visits together. So I know that you guys collaborate together. I think that's worth it, like to kind of go see sites, because what you might see, Rich might see something completely different and have a different concern. So I think having different perspectives, maybe the buddy system is what we need. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. So, unfortunately, I'm going to be gone for a couple days, and I'm going to be unable to assist the town. So I'll do what I can to try to help you out while I'm on vacation. And if there's any sort of concerns, I mean, Diana has full right and authority to call up these, contractors and tell them that they need to be doing stuff in line with their permit applications. And if they give her any sort of resentment, then, for instance, I'd say it would be go back to the board and ask them to come in and talk about their project, because obviously they can't seem to have a conversation with, the assistant here. So I would just say that if they're being pushy or they're not being kind of respectful when it comes to requests from the board, then, for instance, I would just let them know that, well, now you come in front and talk to us about it, or we're going to put a hold on your project. I mean, you have the utmost responsibility. If you feel like the project's not going the way that you want it to, or if there might be some conflicts or some sort of concerns that you have with certain things, when it comes to whether it be environmental safety or environmental protection, I think you have the right to make those requests if you need to. But like I said, I mean, I would just move forward in a way where we can kind of work and collaborate together. And I'm sorry I can't spend more time doing these things, and I'm just trying to help the way I can with kind of getting a system that could work for everybody here.
Yep.
Speaking about that, how about the project off Goodwin, the trail? Have they gotten back to you about cleaning it? And
What's the gentleman's name? Can't remember his name.
Yeah,
Lawton Farm.
yes, I know they're.
Bonvie?
Yeah.
Bonvie.
Bonvie, yeah.
The dad, and then he's got his son.
I think Mr. Bonvy needs an email sent over to him asking for a status update. And, you know,
Bonvy is notoriously slow to respond to anything.
yeah, so I would say that we'll give him 7 days to get back to us, and we'll send it in an email and say that if he doesn't get back to us in 7 days, then, for instance, we're gonna have to follow up.
Do you have his son's email address too?
His son has been pretty responsive.
Yeah, his son is, a lot more responsible.
Right. Responsive, responsive.
I've been out there
You can be
several
responsive but not
times. I haven't
responsible.
seen him. I've seen different contractors, but I haven't seen him. Because they've sold off a lot of
Yeah, they
lots.
sold all the
Different-
lots to other developers.
Different developers are working the lots, so
The
it's,
challenge with a lot of these subdivisions is that when they're subdivided for contractors and builders, it's a lot more chaotic than having one builder do everything on a subdivision.
the orders of conditions don't always get passed around, and
Right, and it's just very challenging, because you're dealing with different time schedules, time frames, different contractors, different ways of how they do operations, so it's not consistent, and things get missed, unfortunately. But I don't know how to relieve that, but I'd say that in the future, we should think about that as we move towards future development and things of that magnitude, and have a discussion on making sure that projects don't get caught up in the weeds, per se, with like how some of these did at the Goodwin Estates project, yeah, so.
anything else? Anybody got anything else you want to discuss? All right, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to close the meeting?
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Echo, hey.
Aye.